Hey guys, this is Nomadic Dave. Just gonna make some place here for you to see me. And today we're gonna speak about some ways to find offbeat places and how to travel offbeat. Now the thing is, when you look for offbeat places, there's a lot of chances that you're also gonna find more local places. You can find more outdoor adventure places, but there's sometimes chances of finding really ugly places. Now everyone defines beauty in their own way, but there's some places which almost a majority of people agree that they are ugly. So I hope you can see. Let's check. Alright, so here's how I find offbeat places when I travel. Now there's no limit in the supply of offbeat places. In fact, there might be a cap on the tourist places, on the sightseeing places, but offbeat places, there's so many of those. The first way to find offbeat places is, of course, open Google Maps, and what you want to do is you want to zoom in and go to the satellite version of Google Maps and then look for water bodies. Now especially for me, because I like to be close to some water source, I like to be just close to somewhere I can probably take a dip or something like that. So water for me is important, and what I do is when I look for water bodies, I make sure there's no resorts, there's no hotels, there is no homestays or something around it. And because I can take my camp, I can take my hammock, I can take my tent, and that's enough for me. That's the first way. So zoom into water bodies, make sure you sort of filter out the lakes which are for tourists, for sightseeing. Filter out all of those, look for water. The second is look for green, and of course the intensity of green will tell you if there's more hills there or more mountains there. And then you can always go to the Terrian View to see how high these hills are, and adjust the level to your fitness levels and to what you like and what you want to experience. So the third way to find offbeat places is to look for cultural festivals. Now we've spoken about the outdoor adventure a little bit in the first and second, but what I also do is I see who are the indigenous people who live in a particular state. What is the name of this tribe, and what are the festivals that they celebrate, and when are these festivals happening? Alternatively, you can also say, hey, what are the festivals happening in June, or what are the festivals happening in July? So I'm currently traveling through Meghalaya, and this is the monsoon period. So most of their festivals are going to happen in the monsoon, because they're going to pray to their version of gods for their farms and for their agriculture and for all of the stuff which comes around, and everything happens around this time. Even in Arunachal Pradesh, it's going to be the same time when they do this. So that's the third way to find offbeat experiences. Now this is true for experiences, not just for places. You can look for places on Google Maps, but this is how you find experiences. Okay. The next way is actually quite simple, because you're already going to touristy places. So let's say now you're at a touristy place, you're at this sightseeing location. I'll give you an example of Hoi An, Vietnam. Hoi An is one of the top tourist destinations in Vietnam. It's in central Vietnam. It has a beautiful old town, it has some beaches, it has all the stuff that tourists are looking for. But when you go outside of the old town, so this is the old town, there's 1 kilometer radius, and then there's the Ang Bang beach, and then the 1 kilometer radius around it. Outside of these zones, there's basically nothing, and there's so much real life happening there. There's so much local life and experiences that you can have, and these people are not touched by tourism. People outside of these areas, and the tourists are only going to these areas and probably taking a bicycle between these areas. That's how that place works. But as you go outside and you go 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers around Hoi An, you have so many wonderful experiences that you can have there. So look for a tourist place, but then go outside of it. This is especially useful if you're in a group, and if you're not going solo, if you don't have as much flexibility to go anywhere, and you have to follow like a public transportation system, and the place doesn't have enough public transportation, that's the other way. Now the next way, of course, which is very important, is to speak with locals in bars. So you go to a local bar and you must take a drink with the locals and then ask them, hey, where do you go when you have free time? What do you do when you have free time? Where did you take your family last? Or where did you go with your friends last? Did you go for a picnic? Did you go camping? Did you go to some lake? And the locals usually try to skip the places where tourists go, and they have their own set of places that they explore. So this helps you. Like, for example, I was in Sikkim and I was drinking this local wine and beer that they have, and I was speaking with a monk. Now there was a monk there who also came for a drink, and yes, it's possible. And he told me that there are these holy places for Buddhists, but there's also beautiful adventure around these places. So it's a mix of culture, experience, and adventure. So go to bars and talk to locals. Now these are just some of the basic ways to find offbeat and unexplored places. Of course, one of the ways that I could explore the most is take a motorbike. Take a motorbike and just stop when you feel there is something beautiful. Now you will develop this intuition when you travel more. Alternatively, I understand that not all of you might have access to a motorbike or a self-drive thingy. So just take the train, go to the train station, look at the map, and pick a station which you've never heard of before, which is not there on the tourist map, of course. And so once I was in Thailand and I took a ticket to some place near Nakhon Sawan, which is a big city. There was 2 steps before or after this place. There was a small town which I took the ticket for, and the station, the ticket seller was looking at me like, "Why do you want to go there? You're a foreigner. Why do you want to go to this place?" I was like, then I knew this is the place I want to go. Right? This is the place I want to go. When you go to a place where they're mostly locals, they haven't had those interactions with tourists and foreigners. They're very pure. They're very pure people, and there's no filter of commercialization. There's no filter of trying to sell something to you. There's no filter of there's in fact on the other side there is a filter that, hey, this is a new person in my place, and if he's friendly to me, if he's open to me, then I should be open to him. So that's the experience I've got. When in places where I didn't have my own transportation, though I prefer taking a motorbike. But if not, I can also tramp. I can tramp for as long, and tramping also gives you a lot of experiences. You must hitchhike, and sometimes you must take the public transportation. Do a mix of these. The last tip, it's a bonus tip that I'm going to give you, and this is useful especially if you're near a big water body, if you're in a bay or on the beach or something. Go with the fishermen in their boats. And this has taken me to amazing islands which forget about tourist map. Like, there was an island which I went which is not even there on the Google Maps, and I mean I could just see a dot there, and when I went there was, wow, the water is so clear and it's so beautiful. It was just people going there for fishing, only the locals, and then coming back to their homes in the other islands. There's no one who stays on these islands, so it's a good place to camp if you're with your friends, or even if you're crazy like me and you're alone, you can camp there. So those are some ways that you can find offbeat and unexplored places while traveling. Very easy ways, because people ask me, how do you find these offbeat places? And this is it. This is the secret. Thank you so much for watching. This is Nomadic Dave from Meghalaya. Ciao.